The microbrewery business is growing around the United States, including right here in Macon. But Georgia's alcohol laws appear to be bad for beer.
Well, many regulations still haven't changed since Prohibition, despite the brewers' lobbying efforts. Some startup breweries now say it's stunting growth and restricting their cash flow. WGXA's Kristen Drummond has the story.
It's another day at work for Corey Smith and Jeremy Knowles, co-owners of the Macon Beer Company, a microbrewery that opened a year ago in a downtown Macon warehouse to engineer great beer. While they continue on their business venture, even announcing their expanding production this summer, they still worry about the business failing due to Georgia's strict beer regulations.
Georgia is behind for the beer business for sure.
The restrictiveness of the three-tier system definitely it reduces the amount of cash flow and revenue that we could have.
The three-tier system works like this. Once a beer is finished, a distributor comes and picks it up from the brewery. In Corey and Jeremy's case, it's the Savannah Distributing Company who brings their beer all the way up here to their Atlanta base. It's then documented and then sent back down to Macon on a truck, where it's then sold to a retailer who then sells it to the public.
It's a law created after Prohibition to protect each commercial entity and hasn't changed much in 75 years.
That hurts us in terms of growth and revenue. It hurts the beer because of the time it takes for it to get from us to the person who eventually uses it.
Georgia is one of 14 states plus D.C. where self-distribution is illegal. But craft brewers like Smith and Knowles want to change that. Many have lobbied legislators to help loosen the law so production brewers may retail beer at the warehouse to generate more cash flow.
We're definitely not trying to undermine the system or skirt taxes. We're trying to make more sense. We can create more jobs and more revenue by relaxing them a little bit.
I'm not really ready and willing to jump out there from my own perspective and change state law on a business that we're really not sure whether they're going to be in business or not.
State Senator Jack Murphy is chairman of the Senate Regulated Industries and Utilities Committee. In the last few years, there have been various House and Senate bills and resolutions to study or change some of the current alcohol laws. Regulations have loosened on brew pubs, places where beer is brewed and sold on site along with food. Brew pubs can sell 5,000 barrels to distributors. In regards to direct retail sales for production breweries like the Macon Beer Company, the laws haven't budged. Murphy says he knows the laws are archaic and need to be examined, but adds there's uncertainty about microbreweries' longevity.
They've just come about within the last couple of years, really started to progress, and we don't know really whether they're going to be in business today or tomorrow.
He also says new businesses shouldn't open and expect to change state law. He cites successful breweries like Sweetwater in Atlanta as starting small and becoming a large microbrewery.
And they survived without changing law. So I think we need to, I'm not saying we don't need to change the law later on, but we need to look at it before we do any changing.
Georgia Craft Beer Guild President John Pinkerton says not changing law is detrimental to expanding Georgia's economy.
Yeah, we have breweries from around the country that are growing and they're looking for East Coast locations. And Georgia is not even on the list of potential locations because our laws are so overbearing.
Georgia has about 40 microbreweries, ranking the state 47th in the nation per capita. Last year, Georgia craft breweries produced less than a gallon for every 21 and older adult, unlike North Carolina breweries that produced 1.2 gallons and saw production grow by 62%. And the comparisons don't stop there.
If Georgia were able to have the same economic impact that the state of Oregon has, we would grow our gross domestic product in Georgia by almost $2.5 billion. Okay, so the numbers don't lie. I'm not saying that would happen overnight if we change the laws, but it gives us a lot of headroom for growth.
Critics say one reason change isn't happening: politics. Distributors have contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to campaigns in the last decade. Murphy received campaign contributions of more than $4,000 just in 2013 from distributors, but denies it influences his decisions.
If you go back into my history, long before I was ever chairman of Regulated Industries or Utilities, I was getting donations from these different organizations, and I didn't have one thing to do with any of the regulations in Georgia.
Brewing is a passion for the Macon Beer Company owners. They enjoy their newfound success, but no, it's an uphill battle as long as the three-tier system remains how it is today.
I certainly want it to be in place. I just want it to be responsive to the times, to the needs.
I don't know that we could lay it at the feet of the three-tier system if we don't make it, but I do think that there would be some responsibility of the three-tier system if we don't make it.
Senator Murphy says there will be another study committee this summer. It'll examine how laws affect breweries and if they need to be changed. WGXA tried to speak with the Georgia Beer Wholesalers Association, but they would not comment on the topic.